Danielle and I'm the founder of The Joyful Edit. Welcome to my channel. This is day 49 of Project 365. I have just had such a nice bath, done my skincare, ready for like unwinding, and I'm just watching something on Netflix called, I think it's called The Catch, which is pretty good. And it was super cute. So I was running the bath and went out to go and get a few things, and then I went back in and Dan had put loads of rose petals in the bath, which is super cute. But I also really needed to wash my hair. So I was like washing it and it was just like, I had so many rose petals in my hair. I was just like, but yeah, I didn't have the heart to tell him, but it was just so lovely. But yeah, today I wanted to talk to you about feedback, because like many people, when I hear the word feedback, I kind of, get like really tight chested and I feel a bit stressed. I think, oh my goodness, like what's someone gonna say? And just have like a really negative reaction to it. Like how many of you can say the same? Like when someone says, I wanna give you some feedback, tell me like, what is your immediate reaction? And like, how do you feel? There's not many of us that will be like, great, tell me what feedback you have for me. I'm so excited. Like that's not really how we do things. But maybe that's how we should do things moving forward. And today I saw a quote and it said, feedback is a free education to excellence. Seek it with sincerity and receive it with grace. Like, wow. What an amazing way of looking at it, and such a different story to what we say to ourselves. And that's kind of what I wanted to share with you today, because I think feedback is like a way of receiving free education, and it's a way in which we can improve and move forward and know what we can do better and to really grow. Because isn't that essentially what feedback is? Like it literally is just telling us, okay, like great, you're doing all these like amazing things. And also actually, even just saying this, like feedback isn't always negative. Feedback is also like, you are doing like an awesome job and you are doing all these great things, and I just wanted to feed that back to you. And what a wake up call, even when I'm like delivering this to you, like a big part of it, I just kind of was focusing on the negative. And I suppose that's because I have linked it in the past to like performance reviews. Not that like my performance reviews have been like really negative, but I suppose like naturally my reaction is not one that's always been a positive one. And I had kind of like a few suggestions in terms of, if you're the one to give feedback to someone. And there's a few things that I wanted you to kind of take from this. And the first is asking yourself first, like, what is your intention? Because sometimes our intention isn't pure, and it's kind of wrapped up sometimes in jealousy, or just, it's not from a place of love. And so I just always ask us to make sure that when we deliver feedback, that we always do it from a place of love, and we think about like what our intention is, because our intention should always be to help that person and move that person forward, and also to let them know when they're doing a great job. Like how many of us forget to do that and let people know like the good things, and especially people that are in senior positions or men. Like us women want feedback all the time, like what we've done well and getting loads of praise, but how many of us actually give praise and thanks to our partners or our brothers or uncles or whoever, all the males in our lives? How many of us actually do that? Because we're all human, and at the end of the day, it's always so nice to get some good feedback. And today, like one of my kind things that I did today was, and there was a guy that I was working with, and he did a really great job on getting an appointment booked in. And I wanted to share it with him and his manager, and his manager's manager just said like what a great job he did, and he was so grateful, and he was like, that was just what I needed. Like I'm like been really struggling at the moment and I just needed a bit of a win, so I like really appreciate that. I thought, oh my goodness, haven't we all been there when we just needed a bit of a lift and to get going and just to feel good? So absolutely encourage you to do that and make sure that you're feeding back some positive things as well. And then also the thing I want to talk about is we can't always expect people to change. Just because we have given them feedback doesn't mean that they have to accept that and implement that immediately. And it also doesn't mean that we're right. Like sometimes it's just our opinion and what we think about the other person. It doesn't necessarily mean that we are right. And also it does not mean, like I said, that they have to implement those things. And that kind of leads on to when like we're receiving feedback. If we go back to the quote where it says, feedback is a free education to excellence. Seek it with serenity and receive it with grace. I think that's what we need to do. When we get the feedback, we should receive it with grace. And that's good and bad because, you know, I think I've mentioned before about how sometimes we get compliments and we bat them away. Let's receive it with grace. And like when there's things that is a bit more uncomfortable or we see it as negative, again, like receive it with grace. I think that's such an awesome thing to say. And I also want you to, like when you are receiving the feedback, is to think about, and this is what we said in the beginning, is like to change the story and change the meaning that we attach to it and see it as an opportunity to grow. And one time, this is years and years ago, my manager once said to me, if it's their perception, it's their reality. Oh, that took me years, and I'm talking years, to really wrap my head around that, because I used to think, no, like, I can't believe this. Is this like, why are they like that? I don't understand it, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, when she said that, admittedly, I did not accept it straight away, but that's so powerful. And I often share that with like friends and family as well, when they are coming to me and have had difficult conversations, normally with like family members, and just like, oh, well, they said this and I don't agree with that. Like they get all this and they get all that. And I always use it as like a reminder for them and myself to be like, if that's their perception, then that's their reality. And we really have to respect that and respect the person that is telling us about the feedback, and because it does take a lot. And we also need to listen and take a moment to like process it, and also kind of think about, you know, what action are we going to take, because I do feel that we have to also be mindful of the feedback that we get from certain people, because again, like, you want to be really mindful of getting feedback from someone that you wouldn't take advice from normally, or who's not living your best life. Like if someone's in massive debt and, you know, doesn't like do very well with money, doesn't have their own home, all these type of things, you probably shouldn't be taking advice from them. The same with, you know, if they are having really bad relationships and have a really dark view on love and all those type of things, and have failed marriages and hate the world and hate love, then again, you probably don't want to receive relationship advice and feedback off of them. So I just think that is also really important. So again, like, accept it with grace, but also really think about, do I respect this person in terms of like their views, and are they in a position to kind of give me this feedback and help me to like move forward? Because again, like, we're not always right, and feedback is one of those really funny things where absolutely it can help you grow, and it's an opportunity for us to seek new ways in which we can change. But also sometimes we don't need to change. Sometimes we are just doing an awesome job, and there will be people out there that that aren't giving you it from the heart. So it's one of those where you just kind of have to know in your heart of hearts what to follow and what to go through, and also make sure that when you are given feedback that you're doing it in a way that you would want it to be received, and really think about how you're like articulating it, and make sure you're doing it with grace, and make sure you're doing it with kindness. Because sometimes it can come across as so blunt and so mean, and that's never what really people mean. It's never like their intention. So I hope you found this video really interesting. It kind of gets you thinking, and also like how you apply yourself and like how you've used feedback in the future. And also just, I want to end with making sure that like when someone does something awesome for you or just does something really, really lovely, bloody go and tell them and shout about it. Tell the other person's, you know, family, or tell the other person's, you know, manager or whoever it is. Like, it goes so far, and you can absolutely make someone's day. Like, just think about when you've had that before and how good it felt, and you have the power to do that and to put a smile on someone's face. So remember that feedback does not always have to be negative, it also can be positive, and we definitely need a lot more positivity in the world. So I am sending you so much love and so much blessings, and I hope you have a wonderful, relaxing evening, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.